Now, reports in Sweden say that several weapons believed to be rifles have been found at an adult education centre in the country where a gunman killed 10 people. Swedish police say they have still not established a motive for the attack, which took place on Tuesday. Well, let's speak to my colleague Kasia Madeira, who's in Orebro for us. Kasia, bring us up to date.
So, Catherine, Swedish police have just been giving a press briefing in the building behind me, and we're getting more details about that horrific attack on Tuesday at an adult education campus just a few minutes away from here. And we're hearing about the level of violence that took place there. And I'm just going to go through some of the details, and apologies to our audience because some of this is pretty grim. We know that, of course, 10 people were shot dead in what is described as the worst mass shooting in Sweden's history. So according to the police briefing that has just taken place, the alarm of the mass shooting was raised at 12:33 local time, so at lunchtime. Now, thankfully, there weren't as many students in this education campus. There are a number of schools within this facility because on that day there was a national exam in the morning. So thankfully, there weren't as many people there. But those who were there were caught up in what was horrific, described as absolutely horrific and brutal. We know that police were, the alarm was raised at 12:30. Police were on the scene just over 5 minutes later, and they went straight into the building. They describe what was an inferno with dead people, with screaming and with smoke. Of course, we've heard from some of the witnesses and the survivors, the scenes of blood, the huge amounts of blood witnessed by them on that day. Many people still traumatized, as indeed this whole country is. Now, shortly after the police entered, they noticed some kind of smoke rising. They perceived that someone is approaching, and they were being shot at. They describe how they see a perpetrator armed with a rifle-like weapon just over 10 minutes after the first response team is on site. So the shooting was ongoing, and we just get a few more updates when the police are talking about the being caught in what they describe as crossfire, but it's still details that they're just bringing to us. Now, just one thing that they say, which I'm going to bring you, is that, apologies, because this is lines just coming into us as this press conference is taking place. An extensive shooting with rifle-like weapons against police patrols. And at the scene, police are saying that they found around 10 empty magazines, and a large amount of unused ammunition was found next to, and at this point, the deceased perpetrator. And we're just saying that police did not respond to the gunfire. They believe that the shooting began to be directed at police officers instead of at students and staff when they then entered into this educational facility. So a lot of detail coming through. But of course, Catherine, what we don't know yet is of the motive. And just apologies, we're just getting a few more lines because the Syrian Embassy here in Sweden have said that Syrians were amongst the victims. This is stuff that is details that are just coming through, and we need to, of course, digest this information that is coming through and, of course, verify it as well. But the Syrian Embassy here in Sweden is saying that Syrians were amongst the victims. Now, important just to stress that this educational facility, it's an adult educational facility. It's a place where people go to who haven't perhaps finished primary school or secondary school. They go in and top up their educational qualifications, and also where people go to learn Swedish as a foreign language for those people coming into this country. So, of course, there is no motive yet, and police are yet to identify and confirm the name of the perpetrator. But the national broadcaster here in Sweden are describing him as 35-year-old Rickard Andersson, who had been unemployed for 10 years. But that is yet to be officially confirmed, Catherine.
Kasia, thank you. That's Kasia Madeira live in Orebro for us.